What's 810, no delay on the roll, turn right heading 110 over my 31 center, clear for takeoff.
Okay, 110, clear for takeoff. Runway 31 center, southwest 86.
Let's see.
Southbound Whiskey Mike, turn left on runway 4 left if you got it. Cross 31 left on ground point 65, good day.
Whiskey Mike, look up.
Southwest 1254, midway south, runway 31 center, line up and wait, 10 minutes to the runway section.
Line up and wait, 31 center, southwest 1254.
So 3344, turn right, cross your right, contact ground, have it going.
Right, cross, right, ground, 3340.
Golf Lima, Tower, up ready?
We're ready, 313 Golf Lima.
3 Golf Lima, wind 250 at 9, runway 31 center, turn left, heading 220, clear for takeoff.
Left, 220, clear for takeoff, 3 Golf Lima.
With 3 Golf Lima, contact departure 119.35, have it going.
1935, 3 Golf Lima. Tower, please helicopter 1, where is departure 1?
Police 1, ready for 7 minutes, squad VFR, precinct approved, have it going.
Select VFR, custom later, please 1. 371 Whiskey Mike, 2500 Whiskey on the visual for 317.
10 Whiskey Mike, Miller Tower, descending discretion, run 317 clear to land.
Okay, descend our discretion and clear to land 317 Whiskey Mike.
Southwest 810, northerly on the roll, turn right heading 110 over my 317 clear for takeoff.
Okay, 110, clear for takeoff. Runway 317 or Southwest 810.
Southbound Whiskey Mike, turn left on runway 4 left if you got it. Cross 31 left on ground point 65 today.
Whiskey Mike, look up.
Southwest 1254 Miller Tower, my 317 line up and wait, and then up to the runway section.
Line up and wait 317 Southwest 1254.
So 3344, turn right, cross rail, right, contact ground, have a going.
Right, cross rail, right, ground, that's 3344.
Number 303 Golf Lima, Tower, you ready?
We're ready, 313 Golf Wayman.
3 Golf Lima, the wind 2509, runway 31 center, turn left, heading 220, clear for takeoff.
Left 220, clear for takeoff, 3 Golf Wayman.
Departure 119.35, have a going.
1935, 3 Golf Wayman. Tower, please helicopter 1, where did the departure?
Police 1, ready for 7 8, squad VFR, precinct crew, have a going.
Fuck VFR, talk to you later, please 1. Southwest 16 and 92, 31 center.
So 692, good morning, runway 31 center, clear to land at 240,
Clear to land 31 center, Southwest 1692. Turn right, cross 31 right, then we'll come back around Southwest 1692 division.
Tower 671 Whiskey Mike, 2500 Whiskey on the visual for 317.
671 Whiskey Mike, Runway Tower, descending discretion, runway 31 center, clear to land.
Okay, descend our discretion and clear to land 317 Whiskey Mike.
Southwest 810, no delay on the roll, turn right heading 110, runway 31 center, clear for takeoff.
Okay, 110, clear for takeoff. Runway 31 center, Southwest 18.
Southbound Whiskey Mike, turn left on runway 4 left if you got it. Cross 31 left and ground point 65, good day.
Whiskey Mike, look up.
Southwest 1254, runway Tower, runway 31 center, line up and wait, give minutes for the runway inspection.
Line up and wait 317 Southwest 1254.
So 3344, turn right, cross to the right, contact ground, have a going.
Right, cross 301 right, ground, Southwest 3340.
Golf Lima, Tower, you up ready?
We're ready, 3 Golf Lima.
3 Golf Lima, on the wind 250 runway 31 center, turn left, heading 220, clear for takeoff.
Left to 220, clear for takeoff, 3 Golf Lima.
With 3 Golf Lima, contact departure 119.35, how's it going?
1935, 3 Golf Lima.
Tower, please helicopter 1, where is the departure going?
Police 1, ready for terminate, squad BFR for 10 crew, how's it going?
Select the helicopter later, please 1.
Tower, Southwest 16 and 92, 317.
Southwest 72, good morning, I want 0 center, turn land at 240, enter.
Good.
So 1692, turn right, cross, and turn right, then contact ground, how's it going?
Turn right, cross 31 right, then we'll contact ground, Southwest 16, 92, good.
Tower 671 Whiskey Mike, 2500.
Okay, just a quick one over to Aberdeen because this airport is just way too small.
Okay, descend our discretion and clear to land 3
Thought I would come over here for a little bit of fun, but I really can't go anywhere out of here just because of the takeoff weight. In fact, I don't even have performance takeoff data for this, so I'm just kind of winging it for here. So the big thing here is we got 6,500 on fuel. We're just going a short hop up to Aberdeen with the alternate EGCC, which is further, is further to the south. 56.4 on the zero fuel weight and 62.7 for takeoff and landing 60.8. 6.4, 6.5, 62.7, roughly 60.8 with an extra 1.7. Flight plan is just pretty much direct. We're just going to use a couple of VORs here. And you can see just a short flight down here to Aberdeen. It's just going up to 26,000. I don't even know if I'll take it that high. But just trying to get a little bit further to the south here, and then I could take a longer flight from there. This runway is extremely downhill, and I'll find the chart here. You can't really tell, but we're actually going to take it off at 6, so it's going to be uphill. Pretty steep gradient. It's only 4,400, so we're going to flaps 3 for takeoff, toga power, get airborne, and climb runway heading till we get above 2,000, then proceed en route. And weather's kind of crappy, as you can hear, so the engine anti-ice on as well. And decent at Aberdeen. Probably land on the northwest runway. And there's our alternate, which is Manchester. That's the plan. Let's get going as quick as we can. Performance, flight plan. Make sure everything is set up in here as well.
Southwest 1254 runway tower, runway 31 center, line up and late, 10 minutes to the runway
In
section.
here.
Line up and wait 31 center, southwest 1254.
Let's go to 10. Is the heading. Should be able to just taxi out and make it right.
Right across the field, right ground, southwest 3240.
Let's see, there's some aftermarket scenery here. Just freeware. But, not too bad. You can see the extreme gradient. Oh man, I had fun here yesterday. So it'll be a back taxi and very short runway.
Left 220, clear for takeoff, 3 Golfman.
All right, let's get rid of this ground power. I changed something before. You couldn't move the aircraft. It's like it's chalked, but there's no option in here to unchalk the aircraft. So I think it's something messed up with this pushback. So what I did was, let's see, what did I do here? On my joysticks. So, joystick roll. What I basically did was just exercise the controls from here to make sure that something's not stuck. We shall see. We'll see how well it works now. Alright, so before start, cockpit prep is complete. The group engine covers removed, signs are on auto. ADIRS is nav. Fuel quantity 6.5 on board. Takeoff data is set, and the barrel ref are set to 1003. Beacon on, doors closed. Okay. And then below the line, windows, doors closed. Beacon is on. Thrust lever is idle. And I did work on a couple of things. Also, my reverser is now on a different axis. So a couple of the approaches and landings I did yesterday to try to put the reverser on, it actually added throttle, so I had to go around from the runway. So hopefully this will work out better this time. And also, one of my joystick buttons actuated the gear by accident, and I'm pushing that button now, so that assignment is gone. So it'll just be G off the keyboard, so that'll be quite a bit better. All right, let's start them up.
Turn right, cross Southwest 16, take it as
let's see. Here's this one. Here. And we can also put this one here.
Tower 671 Whiskey Mike, 2500 with depth visual for 317.
671 Whiskey Mike, North Tower, descending discretion, around 317 and clear to land.
Okay, descend our discretion and clear to land 317 Whiskey Mike.
There's the first engine. So maybe a way to memorize these.
Southwest 810, no delay on the roll, turn right heading 110 over my 317 clear for takeoff.
Okay, 110, clear for takeoff. Runway 310 at Southwest 810.
Such a short flight, I'm not going to do VAT sim on this one. Okay, good starts.
Southbound Whiskey Mike, turn left on runway 4 left if you got it. Cross 31 left, then ground point 65, good day.
Whiskey Mike, look up.
Curious how X-Plane's going to react to this aft CG. It's ready. Okay, after start. See, we got the anti-ice, yeah, that's right, leave that on, temperature 10. Lead cam status check, pitch trim is set 1.3 down, and rudder tree is 0. This is the part.
Southwest 1254, runway tower, runway 317, line up and wait, and then that's for the runway section.
Hope is fixed.
Line up and wait 317 Southwest 1254.
Aircraft doesn't want to move. See, I don't have any chocks. This thing may actually start to slide. We'll see. Well, I don't get this. Don't know why. It takes takeoff power to break the chocks here. Or whatever's causing it to stick in place. I just don't know.
So 3344, turn right, cross 0 right, top right ground, have a good one.
Right,
Okay.
cross right ground, this is 3340.
Quick flight control here. Why is that rudder moving with my stick? Brr. check. So it's just going to be runway heading 10,000. I got the acceleration altitude at 1500 AGL. Once we clear 2,000 feet, or once we hit acceleration altitude, then I'll go direct my first fix or accelerate cleanup on up to 26. Emergency return plan will not be back here. It will be to destination or destination alternate, just because this runway is so short and terrible conditions right now. Probably wouldn't even be late. I'm sure it's not even legal to take off, just because of the performance. Of course, we are at Part 91, so no for hire on this flight, so a lot less strict requirements. Okay, should be right here. Since we're not on VATSIM, just don't have the time to deal with texting because there's usually no controls online. Alright, let's get some lights on here.
Southwest 16 and 92, 317.
So 672, good morning. I want you on center for the land with 240.
Clear to land, 31 center, Southwest 1692.
Transponder. Wish me luck. Okay, we are ready for takeoff. For takeoff, flight controls are checked. Flight instruments are checked. Briefing confirmed. Cam status. Excuse me. Flap setting is config 1. VRV2 flex. I've got 22, 33, 35 toga. ATC is set. You can almost take off. Takeoff runway is confirmed. Runway 6. Cabin crew advised. TCAS TRA. Engine mode select. And packs are on. Alright, let's keep going.
Tower 671 Whiskey Mike, 2500 with on the visual for 317.
671 Whiskey Mike, Mobile Tower, descending discretion, around 317 and clear to land.
Okay, descend our discretion and clear to land 317 Whiskey Mike.
Alright, here we go. So the winds are, real quick, the winds are 130 at 36, so that's going to be from the left. This thing is not going to handle very good. Okay, manual toga, SRS, on 3 speed.
0 knots or greater.
Just a quick reposition flight, so I need to get set up here for Aberdeen.
W1039, contact center 125.47.
2547, JetBlue 1039.
Make sure all this stuff matches up here. Doing the VOR to 3-4.
JetBlue 215, checking on 340.
JetBlue 215, Mr. Roger. Scatter light stop and sit last kilometer, 3-4 minutes.
So after Aberdeen, I don't show this one on my approach chart, so I'm going to do a different transition. So I don't have this chart. So we're going to do it this way. Start via.
Give 35 a shot if you can. That climb at 340 for now, figure 3576.
Let's see, I don't really have the star for that. Maybe arrival. Well, I could build it, but I think what we're going to do. That's the one I have. Let's see what it's got us going to here. Let's pick it real quick.
here 3576, contact center 127.907.
2797, we'll see you 3576.
So there's Glesk. Come in here and pick up the first part of this arc. So instead of going all the way out to Glesk, we're going to do this D2011.
Candidate 18, contact center 128.77.
So D201 Tango. That's it. So what we're going to do is fly out here to the 20 DME arc, pick up the arc on the inside here and bring it around. We won't have to go all the way out over there. So from Glesk you can see it's 4, 3,200, 2,500, and so forth. And then of course 25 miles the entire area, it's going to be 4,100. So what we'll do is we'll cross this point at 4,100 and continue down. Actually, this has got it built in here, 4,000, so we'll just let it fly VNAV, but I am going to put 180 for speed.
American 2180, maintain 30 knots or greater.
Let's see. 80. That'll take us all the way around for the approach.
So 2288, contact center 133.22. 33,
Let's make sure it has all these points. It does. There's greater than 32. Greater than 25, and then the arrival, so 32.25, and then it's a VOR approach. We're going to use a continuous descent to final, which will be 1050. I'll put a derived decision altitude of an additional 50 feet in there because it is a continuous descent. Our category C is
48.
Let's see if we can first get some ATIS here. 3185. Let's put in some temporary weather here. Oops. Where's this approach? Let's see. 998. Temperature is 6. It's 31011.
2547, JetBlue 1039.
And the NDA is going to be, as I said earlier, I'm going to add 50 feet so traffic full. The weather is few at 4,700, so visual conditions on landing. And of course, taxi in. We are going to park at let's see what the noise abatement is. There's 3-4. That's similar 2024 or something. The ILS. Ground aircraft greater than conduct CDAs for first contact with Aberdeen at 4,000.
Jetblade 215 checking on 340.
Alright, got a phone
Jetblade 215,
call here.
Mr. Roger. Scatter light stop and sit left. Kilometer 3-4 minutes.
Okay, thanks.
Get 35 a shot if you can. Figure 35, 36, climb and maintain level 340 for now.
I climb at 340 for now, figure 3576.
$251.10, $210.20, $160.10. Safes in the area. This is vectoring altitudes if you're with ATC, so it looks good. I'm really running short on time here, so we're going to have to get moving.
Figure 35, 36, turn 613, 312 for higher.
At 3312 update, figure 3576.
Alright. Let's go ahead and we will go to the lowest point I can get away with, which is going to be 2,500.
Breaker 3576, contact Hunter 127.907.
2797, we'll see you 3576.
Now I'm descending way early here, but it should still start down at 1,000 foot per minute and pick that altitude up, or pick up the profile there. So let's see what it does. Damn it! Push. That should be open descent. Why it's not? It should be in descent mode, not open descent. Okay. Try again. Not doing it. So, unfortunately, that's bugged. Aircraft is designed to hold 1,000 foot per minute descent when you select nav mode prior to let's just go down to how to do this. I think basically what they've done here is this thing is not able to handle the distance out that I've got going on here. So bottom line is when you push that in, it should go into descent mode. And I'm sure I can. I'll tell you what, I don't know why all these things with the sounds are all jacked up. Let's try it again. Sounds. Try the level here. I've got the mic as high as I can get it, so I don't know what's going on with that. can't turn the mic up any further. Check, check, check. Let's try that one. Maybe that's a different one. Let me know if that's any better. That's as loud as it goes. Yeah, okay, I'll show around the cockpit real quick. I'll zoom out a little bit. First off, I've never been in a blue Airbus. They're always more gray. So this is a gray. It's a little off on the color, but close enough. The weird thing about flying in sims, you know, that if I sit in the aircraft, I'm going to scoot my chair forward here, actually move the chair forward. Now in the simulator, this is about where I would sit in the real airplane. So let's see, this is about where I would sit in the real airplane. It's kind of what it would look like. However, with my peripheral vision, I could see this and this. So although I'm sitting this close, the vision would be way back here. So that's the problem with, you know, this is why VR would be nice. That's the problem with flying in these flight sims, is to move yourself where you're actually sitting, distance from the cockpit, I should say, which, you know, would be somewhere around here. You have no peripheral, so it makes flying hard. As far as comparing it to the other Airbuses, I've flown them all. Aerosoft has got some features that this doesn't have. What I don't like about this one, and from what I understand, it's not high priority, and it's one of the great features of this MCDU, is a secondary flight plan, which you're not able to use. However, on FS Labs Airbus and the I'm not sure about the flight factor, I don't have that one, but the FS Labs and the Aerosoft, it is available. So what the secondary allows you to do is create an immediate return to your departure airport, or a takeoff alternate, or put in an altogether different flight plan. So, so say for example we took off and I lost the engine and I want to return, or I've got an engine out procedure, I can just click secondary, activate secondary, and that flight plan is in the system now. It's active. There's some other things. All the Airbuses, including FS Labs, do not have the most current version of the software here. So a lot of the things that I can do in the airplane for real with the MCDU, I cannot do here. For example, I need to go step away from the computer for a little bit, so I should be able to put 2500 in here. And when we were a lot further out, it wouldn't let me do this. But if I press in, I should get the descent mode, and it's going open descent. It's not correct. So I don't know why it's doing that. So I have to set the vertical speed now manually to 1,000 feet. That's just straight out wrong. And I know there's a difference between the real and the sim, but something as simple as that just really irks me. But all the Airbuses have that. They're not all, you know, they're not all perfect. Even FS Labs has got some things that are different. But it's not necessarily wrong. It's just this is wrong, what it's doing now. But as far as the MCDUs and stuff like that, it's just different. An older version of software or whatever. So it just problem is if I fly all three of them, one does one thing, one does the other, and then another one does something else. So it just for the most part, I like this 319, so I am just taking it on an around-the-world flight here, just kind of play with it. I don't normally fly the airliners. I'm more military simulation, so. But, you know, I just thought I'd tinker around with this in the 7.3 for a little bit, do something different for a while. Anyhow, so what else? Some stuff on the overhead. is not active, but it doesn't need to be. Some things are different, like when you press the fire test, you don't get the correct indications on here. But again, you know, if they're using something from prior versions of the Airbus, then I can't call it wrong. It's just different. Yeah, FS Labs does not have X-plane aircraft that I know of. I know PMDG experimented with one aircraft for X-plane, I think DC-3 or something, but that's it. I'm going to try something here. I'm going to try managing the speed. Now it's going to speed way up, but I'm going to do a quick push and see. Okay, so here. This is what's wrong with the aircraft. It does not need to be in managed speeds in order to manage the descent. That needs to be corrected, and I will let him know about that. That's why this is doing what it's doing. You can manage your descent all day long with selected speeds. Just because you select the speed doesn't mean it has to be an open descent. So that's a bug I need to write down that's probably already been noted. Hang on, I'm writing this down. So what happens here is when you manage your descent, you get a cursor above and below the target airspeed. And so if you're high, the aircraft will pitch over and speed up to that top bracket to catch your descent profile. If you're too low, or once you're on the descent profile, it will allow the speed to drift down to that lower bracket. So basically you're able to maintain an idle descent all the way down. That's the whole idea. However, if you were to go into selected speed by pushing that speed, those brackets wouldn't be there. So it would have to, on its own, try to descend at that speed, and it will always maintain that speed. So basically what it does is if you have a selected speed and it can't maintain the descent path while holding that speed, it maintains the speed. So you're still in descent mode, manage descent, but you have a selected speed, so you don't get that play above and below. You're going to see it here in a second when it captures the path. You see, right? Well, you can see it right now. Here's the target speed. Sorry, here's the bracket upper and the bracket lower. So it's actually holding that lower bracket because it's not doing what it's supposed to do. It should be descending at 1,000 foot per minute here, not 200. That's why it's on the lower side of that bracket. Let me enlarging this a little bit. See, there's the top bracket, lower bracket, and here's the actual target speed. So it's the reason it's on the low side of that is because it's only descending at 200 foot per minute when it should be descending at 1,000 foot per minute below the path, and then once it captures, it starts down. So another thing is the arrow that was here indicating the top of descent is all jacked up. The whole vertical descent profile is messed up, it looks like, so I don't understand really why. So I'm going to make things simple and open descent.
American 2180, maintain 300 knots or greater.
Another thing you'll notice is we don't have any bottom of descent here. So we don't have any arrow indicating where the bottom of descent is. So usually you've got that on your screen, and I think the reason it does that is because we don't have any hard altitude in the flight plan. Even at the final approach fix, it's a 2,500 or better. Now watch what happens when I put this as a hard altitude, not above. Now if I go in there, we should have, I can't really see it, unfortunately. This is another thing with sims, is you don't really have a good view of everything. And even that didn't fix it, so. Yeah, it looks like the only way I'm going to get to fix it is if I put a, we don't have any altitude or better in there. That, of course, is also wrong. Regardless of what this says, it should show the top of the, it should show the bottom of descent. So this is just something probably that's been done in the coding to make the airplane work, which everybody probably does it just a little bit differently. But we're well below where we need to be. We got 80, almost 80 track miles, so that's 24,000 feet where we would be on a 3 degree, and we're really low, so I'm going to level out here at 10,000 if I can.
JetBlue 1039, contact center 125.47.
2547 JetBlue 1039.
22, 15 minutes. Yeah, I should be able to manage that. Just got to keep the speed up here. And let's just go vertical speed. Should level out at 10. Wow. She's all screwed up. There's out. Yeah, something, I think something in the flight plan has got this thing confused. It doesn't really know what's going on, to be honest with you. I think there's some coding issues between what the flight plan says and, you know, whatever this says up here overrides anything in the flight plan as long as you, as far as altitude's concerned or speed or anything. Once it's selected, once you've got it selected up here, I mean, it's overriding whatever's in here. The airplane can go no lower than 10,000 if it's selected in this window, no matter whether it's managed or selected. That is the altitude. Can't do anything else. However, this wanted to go below the 10,000, so.
Give 35 a shot if you can.
There is no sound. You'll get an indication in the FMA. An altitude capture. It'll go out star, then it'll go out. So technically, it's captured now. So still, we got quite a ways to go. That's why I've kind of intervened here. It doesn't know what's going on as far as the vertical profile, and I just honestly don't really care to mess with it right now. I'm kind of running out of time. But I could probably fix it. Let me put a hard altitude in here. At least, you know, we'll be down a little early, but at least, and we'll put at 3,200. This is going to kind of make our descent profile a little inefficient. Maybe it will get rid of these, get rid of the thing that's all screwed up. So now it's probably a little bit closer, but still I don't see my arrow for top of descent, and I have no idea why. So this is just something with the aircraft. This is why I can't fly these too much, because start getting in the airplane and it gets confusing, honestly. I mean, it's all natural in the airplane, but when I come here and sit down in front of the sim, the stuff's not like it's supposed to be in the actual aircraft, so it gets a little confusing sometimes. I have no reason to think that this is going to do what it's supposed to do, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and put 2,500 in this time. Now that's as low as it can go. It can't go any lower than that. Well, it's not supposed to go any lower than that. Alright. Performance, descent. See if it comes down and does what it's supposed to do. Let's get the speed down for 1. Sorry, I've got to manage the speed. Okay, thrust descent, descent. Now it shouldn't go below 10 until it reaches 250. That's correct. can see these two changed, these three changed, that's why they're boxed. On the real aircraft, when you put these, when these drop down out of the wings, they actually provide you with more drag, so I call them mini speed brakes. You'll actually see a couple 100 foot per minute increase on your descent, or a reduction in your speed when they come out. Now there's a little orange mark there, and I think that's because of this speed. It's not happy. There's an altitude error here, so we'll monitor it as it goes down. Still didn't get the ATIS, so 2185. Well, can put the tower in though, 118.1. 1905 is approach. Okay. Let's take a little look outside, I guess. I'm just using the ToLiSS skin because it's kind of just really doing my own thing. Really not flying an airline, just taking the airplane for a spin. There's our airport. I can do a visual approach here or whatever, but it's not really about the flying. I'm just trying to kind of look and test out the different things on the aircraft, and then make a list and let the developer know when I'm done. One of these things is the aircraft does not need to be in managed speed in order to fly a managed descent profile, and that needs to be fixed. It's not a knock on the aircraft, it's just things that need to be adjusted. I mean, and just think about when the 787 came out, the batteries were catching on fire, right? That's a real airplane. So real airplanes and the sim world as well also need to have things fixed as you know, as part of the process. So it's just a matter of touching things up. Alright, so coming through 10,000, there's a couple other things I would normally put on LS for ILS, but we're not doing that. We're doing a VOR approach, and it's going to be a stabilized approach, so we want to be on speed, fully configured, stabilized prior to this point here, and then we can descend at 3 degrees down to the derived decision altitude of 1100. Also, transition altitude at this airport is by ATC, so let's just say we're here. Whoops. Oh, that is strange. Something got all jacked up, man. Holy shit. I don't know what happened here. That is crazy. Should be 998, I believe. Holy cow. Yeah, that got jacked up. I have no idea why that's doing that. Jesus. That might be why we got some anomalies here. That I just didn't even know that was down. Maybe my mouse was stuck or something earlier. I don't know. That's definitely strange. Alright, let's go ahead and activate this approach phase. That'll take us down to green dot, and then the flat maneuvering speeds as we come in. We just double check this QNH and make sure it is right. Yes, 998. Now I should be able to, well, when I pull that, it should also match to the current speed of the aircraft. So when I pull that speed out, it should be exactly where the current speed is, and it goes down to the approach speed. So that again is also wrong. There's a couple other things I need to set up in here. I need to have the Aberdeen in, which it hard tunes anyway, which is nice, but you're supposed to do that manually. Final approach course would be 342, unless I forgot to clear it out. I might have forgotten to clear it out. This is just as a backup. And what I'll do here is I'll bring the first officers and I'm going to have to manage this again to so the aircraft will stay in the on the descent profile, which is unfortunately incorrect. Now what I'll do is bring up the first officer's nav display. Kind of show you how we might do it, because I am going to use the nav mode, and the first officer can either use this or the VOR. So alright, flaps 1. Quick approach briefing, cam status, seatbelts, barrel ref, minimums are set, and engine mode select normal out constraint.
$2,500. 1205, you're set at your discretion, cross Pegasus at or above 4,000, cleared ILS runway 35 right approach.
Okay.
Okay, we'll cross Pegasus at above.
Let's help it out. Go flaps 2. It's just stock scenery as well. Yeah, it's trying to answer your chats here and fly at the same time. The arrow that marks bottom of descent is patchy. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. It should be there all the time. When you're descending, that that bottom of descent arrow is there, regardless. It's even there if you're in a heading mode. And you haven't extended the center line. So if you go from if you have a discontinuity in your flight plan, and then after the discontinuity, there's an approach point, initial approach point, it'll still show the arrow. So I just got some work to do there. Approach is 3,000.
Approach good evening, German Air Force.
Exit is going to be at the end. That's going to be a crazy exit. I think I'm just going to cheat. Exit at the end, and then we'll just find the first parking and stop there.
$2,500.
Alright, he's alive. You can see we're here. We'll be fully configured by here and then down. Yeah, we're configured really, really early. Normally I wouldn't. We'd still see. Here's the thing: we would still be in the descent right now. The airplane wouldn't be this low, but I had to put all of those points in there, hard points, hard crossing altitudes, to get it to show a proper descent profile. And that could have been because the QNH was messed up. I don't know, but. Anyway, the only reason we started down early was because of that. So let's go ahead and drop the gear. Laps 3. And there's full. Speed out. And here's something interesting also. If you don't know what it is, look it up. So our approach speed is 137, but I have got a 14 knot-ish cross, or a headwind, very close. I shouldn't be at 137 now. I should be up here because ground speed mini is going to add that difference in headwind. If that was 30 knots, then your approach speed would be way up here. And if it started to gradually reduce down to 0 as you got closer to the ground, that speed would be up here, that approach speed, and that approach speed would gradually reduce down to VLS plus 5 when you touch down. So I don't think ground speed mini is simulated. The other thing too is I should be able to pre-select this flight path descent angle. What it's going to do is it's going to immediately put it, well, no it's not, so that's good. Okay, FPA minus 3, so that is right. Missed approach altitude is 3. So that's set.
2,000.
What I wish there was is when you move your cursor over here, there was just a symbol to spin it, and a symbol to push, and a symbol to pull. But and that way you wouldn't risk pulling or pushing it by accident. So what we can do is I can check on our distances on the way down. So distance from the Aberdeen VOR is at 13 miles. We should be, there's 13, 20, 50, so we can monitor our profile on the way down. Look, just a little bit high, so, well, I don't need 4 degrees. So the next one is going to be 12, 1730. So there's 12 DME, 1730. We'll see how close we are. Now we're a little bit lower on profile. It's okay, I'm visual, so. And then of course you can just follow the V path if you want. Alright. So let's also get some auto brakes in here. And landing checklist. Cabin crew advised auto thrust to speed, auto brakes low. ECAM memo is landing, no blue. And we're coming up on minimums.
1,000.
Stable. Okay, so runway track is 340. So I'm going to turn the autopilot off, and I'm not going to touch the controls while I do this. Flight director's off. And it should pretty much hold the path on its own. I haven't touched the controls since I turned the autopilot off, which is like the real airplane. We are drifting to the right of the center line because we have crosswind from the left, so I am going to move the controls now. But like on an ILS, when it's smooth, when I disconnect the autopilot, I just kind of keep my hand by the controls, and for the most part, the auto trim flies the glide slope right down to the runway, or at least minimums. But you know, I always say Airbus has taken the fun out of hand flying because the aircraft is so automated. All right, I got my new reverse thrust axis, so hopefully this all works out nicely.
400. 300.
I'm just flying
Glide
visually
slope.
right now.
200.
There is no glide slope, Bubba.
Glide slope.
We're cheating a little bit here. I want to make sure
100.
I get on the runway.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
All right, let's test out the reverser. Nice. Wish I had this the other day. Another thing, just so you know, is we don't, for the most part, if you got enough runway, we don't use reverser. We just put it out, deploy it, but I don't add any reverse thrust. We just let the buckets provide drag. So I'm going to see if I can do that here, just by rolling my trim knob a little bit. Yeah, there it is. See, I've got the buckets, but I'm not adding any thrust. I think I want to park up here at the very end. See, this is interesting. Say, now the buckets, there it goes. Stuff you don't have to worry about in the real airplane is, you know, is my joystick configured and that's a good flight though. I am really short of time. Believe it or not, I have to go to work here soon, so I'm going to be very quick shutting this down. Let's get started in the turn here.
Approach, good evening, Turbines 460 with you at a 10.5, descending to 10,000 with information. Echo.
Hey, President 460, low approach, good evening, expect runway 35 right, the altimeter is 30.
And of course, you don't have to steer with your mouse to see where you're going in the real airplane too. Alright, let's go. We are short on time.
Jet 678, maintain T50 knots to further bud.
250 knots till further advise, exit Jet 678.
I have a buddy that actually works up here in Aberdeen and Shetland. He flies helicopters there for the oil workers out on the North Sea. So I'm guessing that this place would be just jam-packed. Let's go in here. Would be just jam-packed with helicopters if this was actual scenery. Yeah, this is probably helicopter parking, but I am out of time.
Speeds on your arrival, or you still need 250? Okay,
And who was that request?
Southwest 1439.
Southwest 1435, resume normal speed.
Normal speed at 1439.
We're going to play around with better pushback here as well. All right. APU's going.
Southwest 1435, reduce speed to 210, then descend to maintain at 900,000. Turn left heading 360, vector placement.
9,000 left turn to, what was the heading, Southwest 1435?
360 on the heading.
60 on the heading, so 1435.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready. Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
We'll leave all that stuff on. Alright, I am going to see how he does it here.
Boutique 813 is with you leveling 11,000. We have a good
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
second visual runway boutique 813.
Oh, forgot my taxi light. He's getting blinded. It's hard to do this. The switch doesn't go down from takeoff
So
to
connected
taxi.
and
It goes all
bypass
the
pin
way down.
inserted. Release parking brake.
Okay.
Southwest 1435.
All right.
Starting pushback and you may start engines.
Let's see how well the pushback goes here. I love this better pushback mod. It's really good.
Runners 9120, descend to maintain 4,000.
Descend to 4,000 for Runners 9120.
Good evening, Delta 1205 at 10,000.
Oh, Delta 1205, approach respect runway 35 right, the altimeter is 3016.
Okay, 35 right on 3016, Delta 1205.
Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
So if you were going to be pushed back while you still had passengers on board, whatnot, you'd of course leave your beacon on, stuff like that, till he disconnects and it's safe, so on and so forth.
Sending service now.
Alright, let's get ground power hooked up here, and then I can save it.
Delta 1205, descend at your discretion,
Mr.
cross Pegasus
Power.
at or above 4000, cleared ILS runway 35 right approach.
Okay, we'll cross Pegasus at above.
So is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Alright, I guess we can shut it all the way down. Power. Alright, really not much to do here. I just need to get going. I'm out of time. And let's save it. EGPD. Be Lake 6. Save. Alright.
9120, turn 10 degrees right, expect a visual approach, descend and maintain 2000.
Ground service is coming out,
10
so
degrees right,
forth.
down to 2,500, planet a visual, free rate is 9120.
Get some sort of ground stuff so I can put stairs up here as well. Alright. Alright, that's it guys. I have got to go. Thanks for watching, and a couple days I'll be doing another longer leg.
Approach, good evening, Turbos 460 with you at a 10.5, descending to 10,000 with information. Echo.
Okay, Brother 460, little approach, good evening, expect runway 35 right, the altimeter is 3016.
3016, Turbos 460.
Exit 678, maintain T50 knots to further bus.
250 knots until...
Alright, gots to go.
678.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. I gotta run. Bye-bye.